Picture this for a second. You spend 4 years grinding through college, late nights studying, exams, group projects with people who don't pull their weight. You rack up $40,000 in student loans, maybe more. But you did it. You graduated. You land a job. Real salary. Benefits. Maybe $60,000. Maybe $75,000 a year. For the first time in your life, you are not broke. You are making actual money. Your parents are proud. Your friends congratulate you. You feel like you've finally made it. So here is the question nobody asks at the graduation party. Why do most people who follow this exact path never actually build wealth? I am not talking about people who dropped out or switched jobs every 6 months. I am talking about people who did everything right, studied hard, showed up, got the degree, landed the job, paid their bills on time. And yet, 15 years later, 20 years later, their net worth is shockingly close to zero. Not because they're lazy, not because they're irresponsible, but because there is a specific financial pattern that activates the moment you graduate, and most people never see it coming until it is already too late. Let me walk you through what actually happens. Let's talk about someone I'll call Joe. Joe is 25. He just graduated with a degree in business administration. He got a job offer at a mid-sized company in Phoenix making $68,000 a year. That number felt massive when he signed the offer letter. His parents made less than that most of their lives. Here is what Joe doesn't realize yet. That $68,000 is about to disappear faster than he can track it. Let's follow the money. After federal income tax, state tax, Social Security, and Medicare, Joe's actual take-home is about $50,000 a year. That is roughly $4,200 a month hitting his bank account. Now, $4,200 sounds like plenty when you've been living on ramen and part-time shifts. So Joe does what most college graduates do. He starts living like someone who makes $68,000 a year. He finds an apartment. Nothing fancy, just a clean one. Bedroom in a decent area close to work. Rent is $1,500 a month. He needs a car. Public transit in Phoenix is basically non-existent. He doesn't go crazy, just a certified pre-owned Mazda. Reliable. Safe. The monthly payment is $450 for 5 years. Insurance. Because he is under 26, and mail, $180 a month. Student loan payment on his $42,000 in debt, $400 a month. Utilities, phone, internet, $200. Groceries and gas, $450. We're at $3,180 so far. Joe still has about $1,020 left. And on paper, that feels like he is doing well. But now the lifestyle expenses start creeping in. He goes out with coworkers for drinks on Fridays, grabs lunch a few times a week because the office kitchen is depressing. Maybe $350 a month. Gym membership, $60. Streaming services, Netflix, Spotify, maybe HBO, $30. He flies home twice a year to see his family. Flights and expenses average out to about $120 a month. He needs work clothes, haircuts, the occasional date, coffee runs, random Amazon orders for things he needs, call it $50 a month, renter's insurance, car maintenance fund, the occasional concert or weekend trip, another $150. Add it up, and Joe is spending about $960 on top of his fixed costs. He has got maybe $60 left at the end of the month. $60. And here is the thing, Joe isn't being reckless. He is not partying in Vegas every weekend. He is not partying in Vegas every weekend. He is living a completely normal, modest middle-class American life. But he is also not building wealth. He is surviving comfortably, but he is not getting ahead. Now let's zoom out and look at what is actually happening beneath the surface. Because Joe feels like he is doing fine. He can pay his bills. He is not drowning in credit card debt. He even saves that $60 most months. But here is what Joe doesn't see. Every single month, he is making financial decisions that feel independent, but are actually part of a system designed to extract wealth at almost the exact rate he earns it. Let's start with the apartment. $1,500 a month is $18,000 a year. Over 5 years, that is $90,000 handed to a landlord. Joe gets $0 back. No equity, no asset. Just permission to stay another month. And the psychological trick is brilliant. Joe doesn't think of it as losing 90,000. He thinks of it as paying rent. It is just what adults do. The car payment. $450 a month feels reasonable. It is less than his rent. It is less than some of his friends are paying. But over 5 years, Joe will pay $27,000 for a car that'll be worth maybe $11,000 when the loan is paid off. And in 10 years it'll be worth almost nothing. He is not thinking about the $27,000. He is thinking about the $450. The student loans. $400 a month for 10 years is $48,000 total. He borrowed $42,000, so he is paying $6,000 in interest. Again, it doesn't feel like $48,000. It feels like a bill, a responsibility, something you just accept. Now here is the part that keeps me up at night. In 5 years, Joe will have transferred approximately $145,000 out of his life to landlords, to banks, to car dealerships, to the Department of Education, and he'll have saved about let that sink in. A college-educated professional working full-time for 5 years will have extracted less than 3 of his income as actual wealth. The other 97 either went to survival costs or got absorbed by systems designed to keep him paying. This isn't Joe being irresponsible. This is the entire economic structure of post-college adult life, perfectly calibrated to consume his income at the rate he earns it. He is not broke, but he is never getting ahead. And the worst part, he doesn't even know he is trapped. Why do smart, educated, hardworking people fall into this exact pattern? Why do smart, educated, hardworking people fall into this exact pattern? It comes down to 3 psychological mechanisms. First, social proof. When Joe looks around, everyone he knows is doing the same thing. His coworkers lease cars. His college friends rent apartments in nice areas. Everyone has student loans. So it feels normal. It feels like the right path. Humans are wired to follow the herd. We assume that if everyone's doing something, it must be safe. It must be correct. But here is the problem. Most people are not wealthy. So if you copy what most people do, you will get the same result, which is barely any wealth at all. Second, delayed consequences. The damage from these decisions doesn't show up immediately. Joe doesn't wake up one morning and suddenly realize he has lost $145,000. It happens slowly. $1,500 here, $450 there, month after month after month. By the time he is 30, 33, 35 and realizes his net worth is still close to zero. The pattern is so deeply embedded that changing it feels impossible. Third, identity and signaling. This one's subtle, but it is powerful. Joe's apartment, his car, the neighborhood he lives in, the bars he goes to on weekends, these things communicate something. Same salary range. I am successful. I made it. I am doing well. And after 4 years of college, after landing the job, Joe wants to feel like he made it. The problem is, looking successful and being financially successful are 2 completely different things. But our brains don't distinguish. We get the dopamine hit from the appearance. And that is enough to keep us locked in. He stays in this pattern for 10 years. Not because he is careless, but because it works. It is stable. It is what everyone does. Here is what happens. Rent, $1,500 month, 120 months, $180,000. Gone. Cars. He'll probably finance 2 cars over 10 years. Total spent, around $54,000. Value of his current car at year 10, maybe $7,000. Student loans, paid off after 10 years. Total cost, $48,000. Living expenses, everything else, averages about $1,400 month. Over 10 years, $168,000. Total outflow, $450,000. If Joe saved $200 a month consistently over that decade, which is optimistic, he'll have about $24,000 in savings. Add the $7,000 his car is worth. His net worth after 10 years of full-time work, $31,000. He is 35 years old. He has been grinding for a decade, and his entire accumulated wealth is less than half of what he makes in 1 year. Now let me show you the alternative. Let's say Joe's college friend Marcus graduated the same year. Same degree, same salary, same city. But Marcus made different choices. Marcus got a roommate and paid $900 a month in rent instead of $1,500. Marcus kept driving his old Honda from college for 4 more years, instead of financing a car immediately. Marcus attacked his student loans aggressively and paid them off in 4 years, instead of 10. Over that same 10-year period, Marcus saved an extra $700 per month on average. That is $8,400 a year. Over 10 years, that is $84,000. But here's where it gets really interesting. Marcus didn't just save it in a checking account. He invested it in index funds, averaging 8 annual returns. After 10 years, Marcus's investment account is worth about $125,000. He also paid off his student loan 6 years early, saving thousands in interest. His net worth at 35, around $135,000. Same starting point, same salary range, more than 4 times the wealth. Not because Marcus is smarter, but because he understood something Joe didn't. So what is the actual difference between Joe and Marcus? It is not discipline. It is not discipline. It is perspective. Joe saw his first real salary as permission. Permission to finally live like an adult. Permission to have his own place. Permission to buy a reliable car. Permission to enjoy life after being a broke student for 4 years. And that is completely understandable. That is what we're taught. But Marcus saw his first salary differently. He saw it as a window. A brief, crucial window of time when his expenses were still flexible. Before he signed a long lease. Before he got used to a certain lifestyle. Before his identity became tied to how he looked to other people. Marcus understood that every dollar he didn't spend in his 20s would compound. He didn't see the roommate as embarrassing. He saw it as strategic. He didn't see driving an old car as a failure. He saw it as buying time. Here is the fundamental difference. Joe asked himself, "What can I afford?" Marcus asked himself, "What can I avoid?" One question leads to a stable, comfortable life, with very little financial margin. The other leads to options, flexibility, actual wealth. And here is what most people don't realize until it is too late. The lifestyle you adopt in your first 3 years after college becomes your baseline. Your brain adapts to it. Your social circle reinforces it. Your identity gets built around it. And once that baseline is set, it is incredibly hard to go backward. You can't easily move back in with a roommate at 32. You can't easily downgrade your car once your coworkers know what you drive. You can't easily move to a cheaper neighborhood once you've established yourself somewhere. This is why the decisions you make at 24, 25, 26 are exponentially more important than the decisions you make at 34. Not because you earn less, but because you have more flexibility to shape the trajectory before it hardens. The compounding works both ways. Good financial decisions compound into wealth, but lifestyle decisions also compound into expectations, obligations, and a cost structure that becomes nearly impossible to reduce. Here is what nobody tells you in college orientation. The normal path, get the degree, get the job, get the apartment, get the car, is not designed to make you wealthy. It is designed to make you stable enough to keep participating in the economy. Stable enough to keep renting, keep financing, keep working, keep consuming. And stability feels good. It feels safe. It feels responsible. But stability is not the same as freedom. You can follow every rule, check every box, and still end up at 40 with almost nothing saved. Not because you failed, but because the system you are operating in extracts wealth at almost the exact rate you generate it. The apartment costs what 2 incomes can afford, so prices rise. The cars are financed over longer terms to make the monthly payment affordable. The student loans stretch for a decade to keep the payment manageable. Everything is designed to feel affordable on a monthly basis, while being devastating on a lifetime basis. And the people who escape this pattern are the ones who see it early. They're the ones who realize that the first 5 years after graduation are the most financially decisive years of your entire life. Not because you earn the most, you don't, but because you have the most flexibility before your lifestyle calcifies around you. If you are watching this and you are 24, 27, 30, and you are starting to see yourself in Joe's story, I want to be very clear about something. This is not about blame. You are not broken. You didn't fail some secret test. You did what everyone told you to do. You followed the script, but the script was written by people who benefit from you staying in the pattern. Landlords need renters. Banks need borrowers. The economy needs consumers. Nobody benefits from you becoming financially independent. So nobody teaches you how. But here is the good news. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. And once you understand the difference between spending on life and spending on lifestyle, the choices become clearer.